With the headlines warning that Social Security could be depleted by 2034, millions of Americans are asking the same exact question, and that is, should they claim their Social Security benefits early before the money runs out? Well, in our financial freedom video, we're going to cut through all of the fear, and we're going to look at the facts and help you make a smart decision that could shape the rest of your retirement. So make sure that you stay locked in. Hi, my name is Carson Graves, certified financial planner and president and CEO of the Retirement Education Center.
And my name is Andrea Graves, Director of Operations at the Retirement Education Center. For additional concepts on how to maximize your retirement, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload new videos. We want to welcome you back to our channel. Well, Carson, with all the talk about Social Security running out by 2034, people are wondering, why wouldn't you just claim those benefits early?
Yeah, that is a very good question, Andrew, but this is my approach. When you're talking about claiming your Social Security benefits out of fear, it's really like you cashing out your retirement savings because of a market downturn. Now, it may feel like that you're protecting yourself during these moments, Andrea, but in reality, what you're really doing at that moment is locking in those losses that the market has actually taken away from that account. Now, let me give you a prime example of how this can actually relate to Social Security. Let's just say that at your full retirement age, you're actually going to be getting $2,000 per month from your Social Security benefits. But because of rumors and because of fear in the media, you decide to take those benefits early at the age of 62, where you're going to only get $1,400 per month. Well, of course, that's a 30% permanent, and I repeat, permanent haircut on those benefits. Now, let's just say, for instance, you actually live into your 80s. You could potentially be leaving over $150,000 of lifetime benefits on the table. So this is not some type of decision that you want to make out of fear. And with that being said, Congress is already working on ideas to make sure that they can keep this program solvent. And historically, we've seen this in action already, that they always end up stepping in, especially for those who are near retirement or those who are already receiving those benefits. So if you end up claiming your Social Security benefits out of fear or out of panic, you literally might just be missing out on the very thing that you're trying to protect, and that is your long-term financial stability. And so that's where this video comes in today. I'm going to be giving you some insight around this fear and how to mitigate this. And I want to make sure that I encourage you to stick around for the moral of this video, as I am going to highlight how this particular information can absolutely apply to you. But before we get into our lesson today, there are always two rules that we like to give you. And Andrew, what are those two rules?
Well, rule number 1 is to never run out of money. And rule number 2 is to never forget rule number 1.
Okay, so let's go ahead now and jump into our lesson today to talk about why you should not be claiming your Social Security benefits out of fear. So now let's go ahead and talk about, should you be claiming your Social Security benefits early because of fear? So let's go ahead and start with these headlines. Yes, we know that the Social Security Trustee Report does show that the trust fund reserves could be depleted for Social Security by 2033 or 2034, but that's only if Congress failed to take no actions on what is currently before them right now. But in the worst case scenario, if Congress does not take any action before that time, Social Security will only be able to pay about 77 to 80% of their scheduled benefits to retirees. So let's talk about the narrative of Social Security running out. This doesn't mean that the program is going to be going broke or going away just because there will be benefits being cut if Congress does nothing, because Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system. And so what that means is that your Social Security benefits are funded by taxes that are collected from today's workers. So with that being said, how do we actually get to this problem? Well, here's the problem that we have at hand today. In 1940, when Social Security benefits first began, there were approximately 159 workers paying into the system supporting every retiree who was no longer working. But once you fast forward to today, in 2025, estimates show that there are approximately 2.7 workers to every one retiree. This is the issue at hand that is really causing the Social Security Administration to have some stress. So again, the question at hand is, should you claim your Social Security benefits early to go with the mantra of get it while it lasts? The answer to that question, in my personal opinion, is no. Because if you do this out of fear, claiming those benefits early will lead to a permanent reduction in your monthly benefits. And that permanent reduction could be as much as 25 to 30%, depending on when you were born. And with that being said, and I've seen this many, many times when we run our analysis for our clients, this could really cost you tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime, especially if you're someone planning to have longevity and living into your 80s or 90s. So just to quickly put this into perspective for you, let's go ahead and take a look at an early versus delayed claiming example here. Let's just say we have John, who's eligible for a $2,000 per month benefit at his full retirement age. But because of the noise and the news, John decides to take his benefits at age 62. And at that point, he's only going to be receiving about $1,400 per month in benefits. If John had been wiser, or maybe looked at his own numbers and decided to wait to age 70, that $2,000 a month benefit would have jumped to $2,480 per month. We're talking about a 77% increase over claiming those benefits early and only getting $1,400 per month. So now let's go ahead and transition over to solutions and what lawmakers are actually talking about doing to make Social Security stronger and making sure that it lasts without actually having benefit cuts. So these are some of the proposals that are on the table right now to make sure that Social Security can remain solvent at 100%. One of the things that Congress is doing is talking about raising the full retirement age slightly over time. Now, if you take a look at the historical basis for this, the last time Congress decided to raise the retirement age was in 1983. Before 1983, the full retirement age was age 65. And then once reform took place, they gradually raised that age to age 67 for people who were born in 1960 or later. Of course, when they did that, it effectively reduced lifetime benefits for younger workers if they claimed those benefits early. So this is another proposal that is currently on the table as well. Another option that is on the table is increasing or even eliminating the payroll tax cap, which is now currently at $168,600 in 2025. Every single year, Congress is going to be raising that Social Security payroll tax cap. And eventually, all income is going to be paying payroll taxes into Social Security. So this is another option that is going to be on the table. Another option is that they may be adjusting the benefit formulas for higher income earners. So people who make a lot of income, like Oprah Winfrey or Elon Musk or any highly paid individual, they may have a benefit formula that's different from people who make less income. Another option is that they may have gradual tax increases, or they may also decide to do some type of funding diversification for Social Security, like privatizing Social Security, so it can actually have some of those benefits allocated towards the stock market to perhaps get higher growth on those dollars in the trust fund. Now, as I mentioned in 1983, when they actually raised the full retirement age, that was also the first time that taxation on the Social Security benefits came into play. For an individual making $25,000 or more, or for a married couple making $32,000 or more, up to 50% of Social Security benefits became taxable. Then under the Clinton administration, those Social Security benefits at the same income level, up to 85% of those benefits could become taxable. So, of course, tax increases is always going to be on the table. Now, when we talk about historically what has taken place, when it comes to any type of reforms, they were typically implemented with plenty of warning. So there's no need to have all of this fear. Many times you will know before things actually change. Another precedent is that Congress has never cut benefits for any retiree who was already receiving those benefits. So if you're currently receiving benefits, you're probably safe. As I mentioned, the last major reform for trying to keep Social Security solvent was in 1983. And with that being said, we know that longevity has increased since that time frame. So Social Security reform is definitely long overdue. One of the things that I want you to take from this particular video, that the worst case scenario, in my humble opinion, is that if they do nothing, you'll end up receiving around 77 to maybe 80% of what your proposed Social Security benefit would be. So here's my final takeaway for this particular situation. Don't claim Social Security benefits based off of fear. You need to make sure that you run your own numbers and be comfortable with the decision that you need to make for your household. Also, please note that Social Security isn't really going broke. Benefits may have to be reduced due to the fact that no changes would take place, but the Social Security system is not going to go broke. Another thing to take comfort in is that reforms are on the table, and we already have historical precedent that these reforms can be implemented. And again, worst case scenario, you may have a reduction in benefits, but not an elimination of those benefits. And last but not least, my final takeaway here is that when it comes to claiming your Social Security benefits or making any retirement decision, always consider that longevity risk will outweigh the fear of the unknown.
All right, Carson, so what's the moral of this video?
Well, the moral of this video, Andrew, is that when it comes to claiming your Social Security benefits, it's one of the biggest retirement decisions that you're going to make. And it absolutely should not be driven by fear or headlines in the media. It should be based on facts. It should be based on your personal timeline, and it absolutely should be based on your long-term retirement plan. And if you're unsure about what you should do, it is critically important that you get a personalized retirement analysis before you make this type of decision. And we would love to hear your thoughts on this subject. Let us know in the comment section. Are you thinking about claiming your benefits early? Are you planning on waiting? Or are you still just trying to figure it out? And of course, as always, make sure that you speak to a certified financial planner in your area when it comes to these types of decisions.
After this video, please check out our other videos that will give you tips on how to maximize your retirement. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have questions,
we have answers. Please note that these videos are created for educational purposes only, and that you should always seek out your own financial advisor, your own tax advisor, and your own attorney regarding your personal situation. Also, if you are looking for an independent fiduciary advisor to help you with these types of complex financial matters, we highly recommend that you utilize the links in our description below and go ahead and schedule a 1-hour free consultation with us today.